If you have ever loved a narcissist, there is a day you remember down to the lighting in the room. The day the warmth turned. The week your phone went quiet. The morning you woke up next to someone you did not recognize. You have replayed that day in your head 1,000 times, looking for the thing you did. The thing you said. The argument you did not realize was the breaking point. You have not found it. You have not found it because it is not there. The change had a name. And it was on a clock. In 2006, the psychologists Joshua Foster, Shrira and Campbell published a paper that named what every survivor of a narcissistic relationship has lived through: the Narcissist Relationship Arc. 3 phases. Documented. Predictable. With a clock. The first phase they called idealization. The warmth. The pursuit. The intensity. The early weeks where you were the center of someone's whole attention. The second phase they called devaluation. The cold turn. The withdrawal of warmth. The criticism that started showing up in places where, 6 weeks earlier, you would have been praised. The third phase they called discard. The end. Sometimes loud, often quiet. Frequently sudden. We are not talking about phase 3 today. Today we are talking about phase 2. The shift between them. The day every survivor remembers, and almost no survivor has ever had named for them. So before we go any further, I want to say this. This is education, not therapy. If anything in this video lands somewhere deep, please reach out to a licensed professional. But naming what happened, that part is yours. Here is the name. The shift between phase 1 and phase 2 has a name. We are going to call it the mask drop. And here is the one line that reframes everything that happened to you. The kind person you fell in love with was not a different person. They were a deposit. The cold person you are now confused by is the same person, making a withdrawal. The warmth was never about you. The cold is not about you either. Both phases were about something else, and we are about to name it. What you fell in love with had a name. The day it changed has one too. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. Because if you have lived this, you already know the day after has a name as well. Example 1. The temperature drop. There is a day you remember. Or a week. The light in the room. The text that did not come. The dinner where they were already gone, before they had left the table. You have replayed it. You have looked for the thing you did. The argument you did not realize was the breaking point. You have not found it. You have not found it because it is not there. The change was real. Your memory is correct. The warmth did not fade. It ended. There is no slow gradient between the kind person and the cold person. There is a date. And here is the part you can use. Look at 2 dates. The date the warmth changed, and the date the story about you changed. The way they explained you to their friends. The way they described you to you. Trace those 2 dates. The gap is usually under 14 days. Texts go from paragraphs to one-word answers. The good morning stops landing first. The plans get vaguer, then get cancelled, then stop being made. You went from the center of someone's attention to a chore on their schedule, and you remember the week it happened. That memory is correct. The warmth ended on a Tuesday. Or a Friday. Or the week they came back from a trip. Everyone has been telling you to find the gradient. There was no gradient. There was a switch. Example 2. The supply collapse. Here is the part nobody tells you. The things they are criticizing you for now, the things they are suddenly cold about, suddenly disappointed by, suddenly done with, are the same things they once overpraised. The thoughtfulness they once called rare, they now call too much. The attention they once called intoxicating, they now call clingy. The independence they once called sexy, they now call cold. This is not a coincidence. This is the supply economy. Keith Campbell and Joshua Foster, in 2007, published a model called the agency model of narcissism. Their finding was simple and uncomfortable. Narcissistic self-regulation runs on a continuous esteem economy. Partners are evaluated by what they currently supply, not by who they are. The trait did not change. The valuation changed. The deposit was the overpraise, calibrated to lock you in. The withdrawal is the criticism, calibrated to extract the last of the supply on the way out. So if you can stomach it, write down 3 things they used to compliment you on. Then write down 3 things they criticize you for now. Look at the lists. They are the same list. Same person. Same traits. Different month. Example 3. The "you've changed" line. And then comes the line. You've changed. You're not the person I fell in love with. You used to be fun. You used to be enough. Every survivor has heard a version of this line. And every survivor has spent months wondering if it is true. Here is the answer. It is true. They changed how they looked at you. You did not change. The light changed. Twenge and Keith Campbell, in 2009, in The Narcissism Epidemic, named exactly this mechanism. When supply drops, entitlement reframes the partner as the cause. The deficit is real. The cause they assign is wrong. And in 2024, in a systematic review by Townsend and Grenyer, the field confirmed something specific. Partner mental health collapses in the devaluation phase, at rates measurable across studies. But when the partner's behavior is measured externally, by other people, it has not changed. Your friends did not see you change. Your work did not see you change. Your family did not see you change. They saw you change. Because the room changed. Not the person standing in it. Here is the full framework. The mask drop has 3 pieces, and you have already lived all 3. The deposit. The warm phase was capital, not character. It was a payment to secure your commitment. It worked. Foster, Shrira and Campbell, in 2006, named the idealization phase as a documented phase, with a clock. The withdrawal. The cold phase is not a new person. It is the same person, collecting on the deposit. Campbell and Foster, in 2007, named the agency model. Narcissistic self-regulation runs on a supply economy. Partners are evaluated by what they currently supply, not by who they are. The change you remember to the day is the moment the contract terms became visible. The reframe. Once supply drops, the story about you changes. The traits they praised, they now criticize. Twenge and Campbell, in 2009, named entitlement as the engine that reassigns the cause. Townsend and Grenyer, in their 2024 review, confirmed the partner's mental health collapses, but the partner's behavior, measured externally, has not changed. The mirror went the other way. And here is why this is so disorienting. You are not dealing with a person who decided to stop loving you. You are dealing with an esteem economy that ran out of room for you. If any of this language is ringing a bell, that is because we have named part of it before. What we called the mirror construct was the deposit phase, viewed from the start. They studied you, then performed you. That was the deposit being made. Today's chapter is what they did with the deposit after they cashed it. Same person, same arc, different week. Here is what I want you to walk away with. You were not too much. You were just too expensive to keep paying for. And that is not a flaw. That is evidence of how much you were giving. So tonight, before you scroll on, 3 questions. Not advice. Just questions. Question 1. What were you praised for in the first 6 weeks? That was the deposit. And it tells you exactly what was being acquired. Question 2. What date did the warmth change? That was the withdrawal. And the date exists, even if you have never let yourself look at it. Question 3. What did the story about you become? That was the reframe. And that story is data about them, not data about you. 3 answers. That is your mask drop, named. Not a story about them. A story about the day the bookkeeping became visible. And one more thing before we close, because this is education and the point of education is something you can use. 3 detection moves. 3 things you can do tonight. 1. Trace the date the warmth changed. Find it on a calendar if you can. Make it real. The day exists. 2. Trace the criticism back to the original praise. Match each cold sentence to the warm sentence underneath it. They are the same sentence. The valuation flipped. 3. Audit the story about you. Look at the things they say you are, that nobody else who knows you would say. Those are not facts about you. They are bookkeeping. That is the mask drop in your hands. Not a feeling. A pattern. With 3 components and 3 signals. Patterns are easier to leave than people. That is the whole point of naming them. In the next chapter of this, in the discard switch, we will name what comes after the withdrawal. The day the door closes. The voicemail that does not come. The way someone you spent 2 years building a life with becomes a stranger by Tuesday. It has a name. It is on the same clock. And it is not about you. If you want to be there when that one drops, subscribe. We name one of these every week. You do not have to do this work alone. And in the comments, 3 words. Your mask drop, in 3 words. Mine, when I lived it, was the text shrank. Yours might be suddenly I was wrong. Whatever it was, naming it is the second move. The first one was watching this. The human code. The science of why you do what you do.